Blossoming Souls. It's Amber Toysella, and welcome to the Blossom and Rise podcast. Hello. Last week was an interesting topic. I talked about how America is dying, and America, as we know, is in fact currently dying, right? But also in the same aspect is that change happens so that change can happen. There is a noticeable collective shift that is happening right now, okay? And so to really hone that in, I talked about really utilizing spiritual practices to help ground us, okay? Spiritual practices is absolutely necessary, okay, to connect us to source, to keep us grounded, keep us protected. If you don't know about anything about grounding your energy, we're going to talk about it today because it is so powerful. I utilize grounding my energy, protecting my energy every day. Every day as an intuitive. I have to. I make it a point to. And I share this exercise with my intuitive therapy clients as well. Once I tune in that they're intuitive, empathic specifically, we practice this exercise and then I ask them, okay, practice this outside of session and then we'll talk about how effective it is for you. So come back into session and 10 out of 10 times, they're like, oh my gosh, that worked. And I'm like, of course it worked because you're an intuitive. All of us have the ability to work with energy because we come from energy. Whether you believe it or not, it is what it is. Science, right? That's what I love about spiritualism because they include science, like an opportunity to prove wrong or prove right. I love that. It's not just all the woo-woo, right? I'm very woo-woo, but I'm actually very logical as well. I call myself a healthy skeptic. Question everything, right? Question everything. But creating a life centered around a consistent spiritual practice is going to be your best bet. Okay, it's going to help you to blossom and rise into a higher aspect of yourself, which you're seeking if you're listening to this podcast, right? At the end of the day, yes, we are having this human experience. Yes, I'm going to validate that these times are unprecedented and they're scary and we don't know what's going to happen, but just know that things are shifting for purpose, okay? Consciousness is rising. Unfortunately, it takes destructive behaviors for people to wake up. Because oftentimes what it seems like, what it feels like is that people don't care about how decisions affect other people until they're affected by those same decisions. You know, the FAFO, fuck around and find out concept is facts. But if things don't change, how are people going to wake up? How are people going to realize that their former thinking was detrimental to their growth, right? We all have to wake up at some point, okay? Whether in this life, the next life, it doesn't matter. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Plus, our souls come here to grow and learn and evolve, but we also have free will, okay? So talking about soul's journeys is a whole nother subject that I'm not going to talk about today or going into a lot of depths about it, but the main purpose of this video is discussing living a life of spiritual practice, okay? You can't say that you're a spiritual person without doing any meditating or praying, right? Praying is when we talk to source. Meditation is when we listen to source, right? God, consciousness, source, higher power, whatever you want to name it, okay? For me, God consciousness is that of a consciousness. It's an energy comprised of both feminine and masculine energies. Okay, all that there is, all that there was, all that there ever will be. That includes the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, all in between. For me, that's what it means for me. So I know that what's happening is a shift collectively, not just here in the United States, but worldwide. That's happening. Okay, ever since COVID was a worldwide event. It affected everyone on the world, in this world, on this planet, right? So that was like a marker of shifts to come, right? Obviously. But let me know if you've ever heard of ayahuasca, okay? I want to say that I completed a video on ayahuasca, so I'm making a time of this right now. I'm going to search for it, and if you're watching this video on YouTube, The ayahuasca, I'm going to put it up on here so that you can see it if you're interested in my experience with the plant. Um, it was beautiful. I was called to it. It's not something that you do recreationally at all. You have to be called to the medicine. And I was called thinking that I didn't have anything wrong with me, but I needed to have this experience. Well, it was a very intense and vulnerable situation for me because I had my mommy issue come up, my mommy wound come up, and forced me to look at it. It was down deep, and it only came up after my grandmother transitioned into spirit, and she's been with me ever since. I mean, the body dies, but the soul is eternal. It doesn't die, right? There's no death to consciousness. There's no death to spirit or souls. Um, who we actually are, the essence of who we are. And so, my grandmother has been guiding me on my spiritual journey as well to this day and forward. But when she transitioned, then it forced me to look at the relationship that I have with my mother, which was her daughter. And I wasn't consciously aware of that. So ayahuasca, Mother Aya, helped me bring up stuff to the surface for me to further on and process and heal. And we are in an actual great space, me and my mother, the best space that we've ever been in. But that took time, right? Also, physical changes. Like I cannot tolerate, my body cannot tolerate beef or pork, no red meat. And I don't drink alcohol. I know I'm getting older naturally, but my body doesn't tolerate alcohol like it used to. I can't get down with the get down anymore. Not that I did a lot of it, but I just can't. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, it is technically like poison to the body, keeping it from it, like it really is. But um, no, going back to the topic though of spiritual practices, of plant medicine, indigenous people know a thing about a thing or two, a few things about a thing or two, right? So if you're ever feeling called to participate in plant medicine, what I will say is to do your research. There is a lot of people that will say that they trained with the indigenous people, but it's also a market for it. So really be wary, okay? Find shamans that are actually connected to the land, connected to the people for you to do ceremony with, okay? And don't take it lightly. It's a very serious um, ceremony, and it's only for those that are ready, okay, for major shifts and transformation, change. All right. But let's talk about how you can create daily spiritual practices, right? One would be grounding your energy, protecting your energy. So when I say protecting your energy, imagine that you are surrounded by a huge bubble that just surrounds your body 360. Okay. Envision the bubble to be impenetrable. I know I'm saying that really weird, but nothing can penetrate this bubble. It is strong as steel. Okay. Inside the bubble, you're going to see lights of white and gold. This represents divinity. And on the outside, lined, I always see pink so that whatever is thrown at me, it gets sent back with love, right? You don't have to, but that's something that I do. And that way, you don't become affected by other people, and then you won't be affected by other people intentionally throwing you negative energy, right? Okay. So if you've tried that, comment down below. Let me know how that's worked for you. Okay. I really love to know that. Also, meditation, setting a meditative time every day, okay? Perhaps using tarot to get a few intuitive messages for yourself. It's my favorite deck if you're watching this. The black and gold deck. I love this deck. Or affirmations, okay? Using affirmation deck, like my affirmation deck, blossoming affirmations. Like my heart sings a melody of love and the universe hums along. So saying that I'm connected with the universe, right? I co-create with the universe essentially. So lighting a candle, remembering your ancestors, or lighting a candle for yourself, lighting a candle for God consciousness, right? Being mindful, the way that you eat, being mindful about the things that you say, the things that you do, the things that you purchase, like all of those things, right? Being mindful means being present, all right? Spending more time in nature, right? Those are all spiritual practices, It doesn't have to be any specific thing, just as long as you are connected. Okay. So with this, the Love Supreme song would be Psalms for this one. Okay. Um, and if you're up for the challenge, I did create a 7-day challenge called Unlock Your Inner Power. I'm gonna see if I can, I'll link it to the show notes. So if you're interested, please go ahead and check it out. Leave a review, let me know how well it's worked for you, so that you can become in line with daily spiritual practices and ways for you to elevate yourself to blossom and rise essentially. Okay, so don't allow chaos and fear to break you away from your spirituality. This is a time more than ever to stay connected to your spirituality, stay connected to spirit. You're not on your own. We're together. We have community together. Okay, the things that are happening are out of our control. Let's just sit back and tend to ourselves. Tend to ourselves, be community, reach out for help if needed. We're going to get through this. Okay? Because we're part of the love supreme, the supreme love. Okay? All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. You can find me on Substack, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible. All right. Comment down below. Let me know where you're listening from. I would love to hear from you. Let me know how the 7-day challenge was. Let me know how the visualization of the bubble is and was for you. I really would love to hear from you. All right. Thanks, guys. I love you, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.